recording. Can you say your first and last name and spell it out?
Yeah, my name is Rodney Bierman. That's RODNEY BEARMAN. And I am a spokesperson for the Internal Revenue Service.
And then obviously today is April 15th. So for people who haven't filed their taxes just yet, do you recommend them doing it as soon as possible or like getting an extension?
Well, the IRS always recommends that taxpayers file their taxes as soon as they possibly can. And being that April 15th is the deadline for most taxpayers, today would be the day to file to meet the deadline.
And then when it comes to extensions, can anyone ask for an extension or do you have to qualify for it?
No, requesting an extension is easy and any taxpayer can request an extension. And an extension gives the taxpayers an automatic 6 months, in this case, until October 15th of this year to file their return. One note that I want to make clear is that an extension allows the taxpayer additional time to prepare and file their taxes. However, it's an extension to file, not an extension to pay. And if you owe the IRS, you need to make an arrangement to or pay the tax on the due date, which will be today.
And then can you tell me about how people can ask for an extension?
Well, getting an extension is easy as it's ever been. Taxpayers just need to go to irs.gov, look up free file, and then use the free file program to request an extension. It takes only a few minutes and it can be done quickly and easily.
And then are there any penalties for asking for an extension?
The only penalties that would apply would be if a taxpayer requests an extension to file and they owe the IRS. Then potentially there could be penalties for failure to file or failure to pay.
And then can you tell me about the penalties for people who aren't able to pay?
Well, every individual's circumstances are different. But like I said, the penalties that a taxpayer could incur in most cases would have to do with failure to pay if a bill is owed or failure to file or meeting the filing requirements. And those are based typically on a percentage of the owed amount that the taxpayer may have. But filing for an extension is quick and easy, and the IRS recommends that taxpayers make every attempt to file. So even if you, as for instance, and just to clarify this, to get this correct, taxpayers, if they do not owe or are due a refund, the IRS typically will not charge penalties on returns that are filed late. However, until you file and that return is accepted, you're not really sure in some cases if you would owe. So again, the IRS would recommend that if you meet the filing deadline and submit your returns on time.
And then for people who owe a lot more money than they're able to pay for, what do you recommend they do?
Well, there are options for taxpayers who owe and are finding it difficult to make that tax obligation. For those that do owe, irs.gov offers payment options. And you can also, if you go online and set up an online payment plan, you can, and you know that you need to make payments, you can select from options such as a short-term payment plan or a long-term payment plan.
And then for looking forward to like the next year, what is your recommendation on how much people should take out for their paycheck so when it comes to the next tax day, they won't have to owe as much? Right.
Absolutely. So everyone wants to avoid a tax surprise in the spring, and the IRS makes it easy for taxpayers to use what's called the tax withholding estimator. It's on irs.gov, helps people bring them closer to maybe a zero balance or getting a small refund. It takes just a few minutes to plug in some personal information, and then the tax withholding estimator will give you an estimate of what your withholding should be, that you can submit a new W-4 form to your employer to get your return to zero and avoid those spring surprises.
And then what about for people who are self-employed or have like their own business?
Well, for individuals who are self-employed or own their own business, there are also tools that can help you even use the tax withholding estimator. There are tools for self-employed and businesses on irs.gov to help you either meet your tax requirement by making quarterly or estimated tax payments, or to figure out what your tax burden may be in the spring.
And that's pretty much all the questions I had. Or is there any other tips or advice you'd want to give to people who haven't just yet filed their taxes today?
Sure. If you have yet to file your taxes today, file electronically and choose direct deposit. Filing electronically and using direct deposit is the quickest and most secure way to ensure that your return is accepted by the IRS and that your refund is provided in typically 3 weeks or less. So if you still have yet to file your taxes, file electronically. You can do that on irs.gov and choose direct deposit and get your refund in 3 weeks or less.
And then is there anything else you would like to add or anything you wish I asked?
One thing that I would like to mention to taxpayers in Hawaii is that some taxpayers are automatically eligible for an extension. And some of those eligibility requirements include citizens that are living abroad, or members of the military on duty outside the United States for part of the year. But most importantly, for taxpayers in Hawaii, when the president makes a disaster area declaration, the IRS can postpone certain taxpayer deadlines for residents and businesses in the affected area. And the IRS announced just maybe a few short weeks ago that various tax filing and payment deadlines for individuals and businesses affected by the wildfires in Hawaii would have an automatic extension. And what does that mean? Well, for example, individuals that are either reside or have business in Maui and Hawaii counties may be eligible for an automatic extension that would give them until August the 7th to file their taxes.
Well, thank you so much for letting us all know about that. That's pretty much all the questions I had. Again, opening the floor in case there's anything else you wanted to mention.